What are the goals of coaching and mentoring? We're going to go through this, and I'm going to tell you 4 specific steps on how to achieve it. When we can live life on our terms, on a holistic level, taking into account not just our business lives, but also our health, all of our relationships, from friends, family, to our partners, the world changes. All right, so I've been working with people for over 30 years. I feel like the luckiest cat on the planet. I get to help people dream and achieve more than they ever thought possible, which is fantastic. But to say what are the specific goals for coaching and mentoring is hard to do because it's different for everybody. And I feel as a coach, and if you're being coached or a mentor or mentee, the biggest thing for people is how can we help people get better? Ultimately, that's what it is. And to whatever level, quote unquote, better is up to you. But the first thing as a coach, and primarily from the coach's perspective, is it's our job to be curious. To be curious and really try and define where is the person we're working with, and then meet them where they're at. So the first step is being curious. Understanding that every organization, leadership team, individual, even couples, are at one of 4 phases. It's stabilizing, visualizing, strategizing, or executing. And it's because of this that it's so important that as coaches and as mentors, we have to be curious and then meet people where they're at. Because if you're running around with your hair on fire, and I want to try and sell you on the idea of visualizing or dreaming on those things, to be blunt, it's going to go in one ear and out the other. So there may be times where to start with, we need to invest time and energy to help somebody stabilize just so that they can start to breathe and figure out where they want to go and start to dream and look at things in a little different way. Once we stabilize, then people can start to have a little bit of time to start visualizing where they want to go. Once we visualize, then you can build a plan on how we're going to go and go achieve it. And then lastly, how can we go and execute with ruthless but compassionate accountability? So the first step, again, is for us to be curious, meet you where you're at, and then as we go through, really try and understand those things and ask lots of questions. Now, the second step is reading between the lines. As a good coach or a mentor, 99% of the time when somebody says, oh, this is my problem, or this is the issue, or this is what I'm fighting, or this is what's pissing me off, it's not really what it is. I would argue that 90% of the time, in fact, it's a symptom of something else. And it's our job as a coach or mentor to keep digging and dig. And as we dig in, well, then we can start reading between the lines and ideally identify what are the root causes. What are the primary challenges that somebody's facing? What's holding them back and why? Once we start to see those things, usually people like to avoid those. They'll come up with everything all around the issue, but they don't want to talk about the issue because that might be hard, or that might be uncomfortable, or that might be okay. But I would argue that that's our job as a coach and a mentor, is in a loving but ultra direct and compassionate way help address and ask questions. It's our job to be fearless. Not as a dick, but very direct and candid to help somebody be better and challenge in that compassionate way. When we start to do that, then we're going to be able to start figuring out what are the things we can do to get stronger, to get better. And then lastly, once we do that, how can we ruthlessly, but compassionately hold people accountable? How do we establish that bar so that they can start dreaming and challenging themselves to dream bigger, achieve more than they ever thought possible? How do we get them to break out of the habits and the paradigms they're in to get to that next level? So if you're generally wondering what are the goals of coaching and mentoring, I think ultimately it's to help people become better, but how you do that is going to be on a case-by-case basis, individuals. But it starts with the 4 steps. First, we have to be curious. Meet the people where they're at, knowing that they're at some point of stabilization, visualization, strategizing, or executing. The second is we have to ask lots of questions and read between the lines, understanding that most symptoms aren't really the issues, they're just symptoms, and it's our job to figure out what are some of those root causes. Once we understand that, then how can we start to challenge and help people become stronger and better at it? And then lastly, how do we help people hold themselves accountable? Because once you start this cycle, people will start to get stronger. They'll get better. They'll be able to dream more. They'll be able to start having more faith in their own abilities, and they'll get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So ideally, you found some value with this. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to go to our site, lifeon-yourterms.com. We offer a full course for coaches and individuals on how to look at life in a healthy, integrated way. Please subscribe to the channel and say thank you so much for investing some time. Keep smiling.